Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All these videos that get posted on this subreddit right here, it's called DF Sports with one S. You can ask me questions about the slate, anything you need. I will be here up until lock, after lock to reply to you guys, all that good stuff. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. All right, let's get into my lineups from tonight. So, if you are interested in more in-depth content where I give you guys cores, private videos for night slate, main slate, showdown slate, um, cores for all that stuff as well, my Discord link will be down below. I also do Prize Picks stuff. Gonna have a good day on Prize Picks too. So, yeah, gonna be a great night. We're gonna have some big nights in Discord as well. We have some people, in first place and a lot of stuff. But I want to get this video out because I am very, very tilted and I kind of just want to go to bed. And I'll explain why I'm tilted in a minute. But my core today was Amin Thompson. He smashed. Jabari Smith was a core play for me. He smashed. And then I had Royce O'Neal as a core play, but once he wasn't starting, I told everyone I still really liked Royce O'Neal for value. I thought he was still really good value. I just told everyone I didn't know if I was going to play him or not because answering questions in Discord on Reddit, it takes up a lot of my time. I usually don't build my lineup until the last 2 minutes before lock. So I told everyone, listen, I don't know if he'll be a core play. I don't know if he's going to be in my lineup. So I took him out of the core. And I only had two today with Amin Thompson and Jabari Smith. And I told everyone to get to the Knicks. Knicks are my favorite team to target today. As you can see here, I just wrote, I still like Royce and DSJ. Main reason I took the Royce out of the core was because I was still building my lineup. And I told everyone to get to the Knicks. Where did I say that? I'd get to at least, yeah, the Knicks for core. And then Caleb Martin started. I thought he was a good value. He was unowned. He had a pretty good game as well. We'll talk about him going over the slate. So yeah, and let's get into my night lineups and showdown lineups. This is where I just absolutely just want to break something. You guys don't understand. After the bad beat stat correction the other day, after an injury with Claxton last night, I fire up night slate. I fire up showdown. Look how many lineups I have in showdown. This is $15 entries. I have more lineups than this on night slate. Even more lineups than this on showdown. I have this in other contests. Um, yeah. Just no. This is it. This is it. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I forgot. I removed some lineups after Doc Rivers trolled with the lineup. So these are the only entries actually, but still, like Chris Middleton just injured right off the bat. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Night slate, same thing. Middleton just injured right off the bat. Just super unfortunate. Can't catch a break of late. It's super frustrating, but um, we move. Like I said, we're gonna have some big days in Discord. Hopefully, we have a couple people up at the top. Um, of some single entry stuff. Let me see if they're in this contest as well. Jake right here. He's in my Discord. He just needs to hold off SGA. It looks like he will. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. Hopefully you guys had a great night tonight. But enough of me complaining. Let's get into this video. All right, Cleveland and Washington, really, really good spot here for Cleveland. So, one thing to note here with the Cleveland guys is Darius Garland's minutes upticked a little bit last game, and Evan Mobley's minutes upticked a little bit last game as well. So, like, if we get an uptick in minutes here for like Mobley and Garland, let's say we get like 30 minutes for Mobley. I actually think he's firmly in play at 7.1K, especially because of this matchup as well. So, like, you could definitely get to these guys if they're going to uptick their minutes to around 30 minutes. Still, I'm going to say they're more tournament-only plays, plus there's blowout risk here. But, yeah, I don't think they're out of play with the minutes uptick last game. So, like, you could definitely get to these guys. They're more GPP-only plays for me, but you give them 30 minutes in this matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if Mobley keeps crushing, right? I would say these definitely outliers. He's not going to continue to average these rates, but yeah, he could smash in 30 minutes. I think they're fine tournament plays. Jared Allen would be your safest bet of those three. He's been playing extremely well. You guys always know I like to target Daniel Gafford on the other side of the game. So I actually like Jared Allen at 7.6K. It's mainly a matchup thing as well. Even with everyone healthy, I still think he's pretty good. And then Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's going to lead this team offensively. He's going to do everything for this team. He's going to play close to 40 minutes in a competitive game. He's been smashing with the whole team healthy. I still think he's a pretty good spend up at 9.9K. Now, do I think he's my favorite spend up on the slate? No, but I still think he's a pretty good spend up, especially if Washington can keep this game competitive. So, yeah, I think Cleveland does look pretty good here. And then, like I said, Garland, Mobley, I'm fine taking sprinkles in tournaments if they're going to be low owned, if their minutes are going to uptick to around 30. I don't know if I get to like a Levert with everyone healthy. Max Strus, I think, is priced right. I'm not going to play this value. All right, moving on to Washington. Tough matchup here. We do have Bagley out. One thing to note here is Eugene Amoria got the backup 5 run last game. Eugene's not a bad point per minute guy either. So, like, if you give him backup 5 run, like, teens minutes, you can take darts there. It's fine. As far as the rest of the team, I don't love much. Cleveland, one of the best defensive teams in the league. I mean, if they're going to keep this game competitive, you're probably going to see big games from like Kyle Kuzma, maybe Jordan Poole. One guy that I am intrigued by here for value is Bilal Coulibaly. So he is going to be in the rotation regardless. This game is just unbelievable. But he'll be in the rotation regardless. And if you think this game blows out, he'll absolutely crush in a blowout. So, like, that's one thing with Coulibaly where I think he actually is intriguing for value on this slate, unless other value does open up. I actually do think he is actually kind of decent if you are playing for a blowout here. And then the main guys, like I said, nothing really stands out to me. If you're looking for a competitive game, I think Kuzma at 7.6K is your best bet, but yeah, not going to be going to anyone here. And mentioned Eugene Amoria got the backup 5 run last game. All right, moving on to Toronto. So I think this team looks pretty good in a good spot going up against Charlotte. Everyone healthy. Gary Trent's probable. Jonte Porter's questionable. So Jakob Poeltl played big first half minutes last game, and then the game blew out. So if he is back to his full complement of minutes going up against Charlotte, I think he really stands out to me at 5.9K. I think he's a very, very strong play. I really like Jakob Poeltl here. Main guys I think look good, so like RJ Barrett, Manuel Quickly, Scotty Barnes in this spot, I think are all decent plays at their respective price points. RJ Barrett's been leading the team in usage of late as well. But this game went a double overtime, I think. Maybe it was single overtime. But they should all play high 30s minutes as well. I think all are decent options. I think RJ Barrett will probably be the most popular. So if you want to pivot in tournaments to like an Emmanuel Quickly, I think that's fine. And then Scotty Barnes is, I swear this guy plays better with everyone healthy. But yeah, I think RJ Barrett probably going to be the most popular of the three. And then Jakob Poeltl is just my favorite by far at this price point. I'm really, really high on Jakob Poeltl here. With everyone back, Bruce Brown's overpriced. Gary Trent should play around 30 minutes. I think he's fine value, just has to do shots to reach value. I don't know if I go to much else here. Yeah, I don't think I go to much else. If Jonte's out, could you go to like a Thad Young, get the backup 5? Sure. But I would say he's priced right. Moving on to Charlotte, another team I'm pretty high on here, especially if Gordon Hayward and Cody Martin are going to remain out. So last game they went with Ish Smith in the starting lineup at the point, I believe. So if we go with that same starting lineup, let me just pull up the rotation because this rotation was absolutely insane when the game was competitive. I believe it stayed competitive the whole time actually. But look at this. Ish Smith played, 34 minutes. Nick Richards, 32. Miles Bridges, 40. Brandon Miller got into massive foul trouble, still played 33. Saw PJ 34 off the bench. It's basically just those guys and nobody else here. So keep an eye on Hayward and Cody Martin. So assuming they go with that same starting lineup of Miller, Bridges, Nick Richards, and they started Leaky Black last game. How many minutes he finished with? 16. I probably wouldn't do it. I think Ish is just the much better play. So, assuming they go with that same starting lineup, I really, really like Ish Smith for value at 4.3K. Played 34 minutes last game. Statute stuffer. Would like him a lot. Nick Richards, I think is solid at 5.5K as well. He should play around 30 minutes. Decent point per minute guy. I don't mind him. PJ Washington playing big minutes. I'd actually prefer PJ to Nick Richards. I think he's decent. Brandon Miller has actually been really turning it on of late. I have no issue going to him. He's probably going to be popular tomorrow. I really don't have an issue. I think he's a solid play. I love Miles Bridges at 8.4K. Really, really like him. Assuming all these guys are out. And then if like Martin's in, it's probably going to take the value out of play. And then going to be a downgrade to everyone else, especially if Hayward's in as well. I would expect these guys to remain out. But I'm really high on the Charlotte team if they're out. Moving on to Atlanta, so we have Capella out. The Okongwu Faders got away with murder last game. I still really like him at 5.7K. Bruno Fernando should get the backup 5 run. I think he's a fair value at that price point. Main guys look fine in this matchup. Boston, very, very tough. But Trae Young at 9-1 does seem a bit too cheap at this price point, so I don't mind Trae here. I would say Murray's a bit priced right. Jalen Johnson definitely priced right. We do have Hunter probable as well. He's going to be on some type of limit. Not going to go there. What? Okay, bud. Okay. Bay's priced right. Bogey should see high 20s minutes. Fair. But my favorite play here is definitely a Okongwu. All right, really, really good spot here for the Boston guys. We have Drew Holiday questionable. If he's out, I would expect Al Horford to move in the starting lineup. If that's the case, I do like Al Horford at 5.1K. Then you'll probably see a bit more run for like Sam Hauser, maybe a bit more Pritchard. I think Pritchard be a solid value at 3.5K. And then, I like these main guys. Especially if Holiday's out, like Derek White, Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, I think are all really good plays, especially in this matchup going up against Atlanta. They should be able to feast here. Really, really good spot here. So I'm pretty high on this Boston team if Drew Holiday's out. If Drew Holiday's in, I think they still look solid. Like, I still think White, Drew, fine plays. I think Porzingis, I like once again 4 tournaments at 7.5K. And I think Tatum's a pretty good spend up. I would prefer Tatum to Brown at this price points, but yeah, this match was really, really good for Boston. Would prefer Drew not to play, but yeah, I think Boston's definitely a team you definitely want to have some interest in tomorrow. All right, moving on to the Warriors. So we still have Joel Embiid out on the other side of this game, and we still have Melton out and Batum is out. So matchup a little bit different here. We have Chris Paul out here for the Warriors. We have Draymond Green questionable, and we have Andrew Wiggins probable. So Podziemski should move back to the bench. So they'll probably go with that same starting lineup they normally do. Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, assuming Draymond plays. With that being the case, Jonathan Kuminga has been absolutely incredible, playing big minutes. I still think he's decent at 7.2K. We know he's a really, really good point per minute guy. Stat sheet stuffer. I have no issue with him. Steph Curry, you guys know the drill with him. Always in play for tournaments for me. Does have a ceiling. I think he's a fine option. Pods coming off the bench, more of a contrarian play for me at that price point. I do like Klay at 5.5K. This price point does seem a bit too cheap for Klay. So, you guys know if he's someone that's going to be like popular because the price point's down, I'm still fine fading because he has such a low floor. But yeah, Klay Thompson does seem a bit too cheap. Wiggins at 5.4 is fine. I think I'd rather just play Klay. And then I don't know if it gets much else. And I like Draymond. Now, if Draymond's out, we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. They'll probably insert like Kevon Looney or something. But it's going to be bumps to like the bigs. So like Looney, Trace, you might see a bit more of. Saric, etc. I still don't trust any of the bigs if Draymond's out. Like they can still ride the hot hand with all the bigs. They're also, giving run to like Guy Santos, Lester Quinones. Like none of the bigs are safe if Draymond's out. Whoever starts would probably be your best option, but it's going to be bumps to Trace has basically been out of the rotation. So yeah, don't feel too confident there with the bigs. I guess Kevon Looney, if he starts, would probably be my favorite, and then Saric would be my second favorite. But I don't know what Kerr wants to do here. I really, really don't. And then if Draymond's out, you're going to see more minutes for, the main guys, basically. And then if you want to take shots on like Lester at 3.2K, it's fine. It's fine. All right, moving on to the Sixers. So I'm still extremely high on Tyrese Maxey. One of the highest usage rates in the league without Joel Embiid on the court. I still absolutely love him. Game blew out last game, plus early foul trouble. I will let people fade him because of that reason. I still absolutely love Tyrese Maxey at 9.4K. I still really like Tobias Harris, even at this price point. I still think he's a pretty good play. Oubre, low floor, but the ceiling is there. I would say he's priced right. And then Paul Reed, keep an eye on this. He's been dealing with an illness. If we get news that he's, full go, not on the limit anymore because of his illness, then I like him for tournaments. If we get news he's still dealing with an illness, then you want to look to like a Mo Bamba possibly who will get extended. But at their price points, if he is still sick, both, Bamba and Paul Reed would be overpriced. Pat Bev at 5.5, priced right. And then Batum's out. I think Morris is a decent value. It's disgusting, but decent. You saw Springer crush last game because of the foul trouble to Tyrese Maxey. All right, moving on to the Spurs. So, yeah, Wemby is just too cheap here. I don't know what we're doing. Matchup's horrible, but I don't know what we're doing. Should get around 30 minutes. One of the best point per minute guys in the league at 8.8K. He's just too cheap. So, really, really like Wemby there. The rest of this team, I don't love much. Vassell, I think, is priced right. Don't love the spot for the rest of these guys. Keldon Johnson at 5'8", should see around 30 minutes. I think it's okay at that price point. Trey Jones at 5'7", actually has been playing decent minutes. I guess I don't mind him. He seems like a pretty safe play to me. Stat sheet stuffer, I think it's just like okay. Soap Chan at 5'4". I mean, these guys just all look similar to me. I'm not going to play Penny. I don't know if I go to any of the values. Like the main standouts, my two favorite plays are going to be Wemby and definitely Trey Jones there. All right, moving on to Miami. So they started Caleb Martin tonight. I want to see what the minutes were. I know the game blew out a little bit, but Caleb ended with 25, Butler 34, Bam 30, Terry Rozier 31, Tyler Hero 26, and then let me refresh popcorn, see if they have it up. They do not. And you're going to see some Duncan off the bench, some Jamie, some J. Rich, and then Kevin Love will get the backup 5. And Highsmith was a DMP until the blowout, I want to say. Good spot here. Jimmy Butler's usage rate actually has ticked up of late. It's weird. Even with Rozier on the court, his usage rate has actually ticked up. So I like Jimmy at 7.6K. I think he's one that's probably going to go a bit overlooked tomorrow. I don't mind Butler. Bam at 8K is fine. I think he's priced right. Tyler Hero's priced right. Terry Rozier's priced right. It's like the main guys, if I were to target anyone here, would be Jimmy Butler. As far as the value goes, they start Caleb Martin again. I actually think he's a decent value. Even if he comes off the bench, I still think he's going to play around 20 minutes, would be playable. But he starts, I actually think he's a decent value. And then, like I said, they booted Highsmith from the rotations. Like, you're going to see J. Rich, Jamie. They're probably going to play low to mid-20s. I actually think both are fine values as well. So, yeah, then Duncan, he'll probably see high teens minutes, would be my guess. Playable in large field tournaments. All right, moving on to Detroit. So we have Cade Cunningham questionable, and we have Bojan questionable. So if they're both in, I like Cade at 7.9K in a good spot going up against Sacramento. He does seem a bit too cheap. So I'm intrigued by Cade for tournaments. Durant at 6'9" should play around 30 minutes. I like his ceiling. He's been a bit bad of late. Don't mind him. Ivy at 6'4" if Cade plays. Just there for me. No standouts. Fine as like a filler play. Bojan, kind of the same thing. And then with Isaiah Stewart out, they've been starting Kevin Knox, but it's basically been kind of spot starts where he plays, just 2 shifts. I don't know if I'd go there. The guy that's really gotten the bump of late has been Oscar Thompson. He's gotten 27, 26 minutes past 2 games with Stewart out. So if you continue to give him those minutes, I actually do like Oscar Thompson for value. And then if we get a situation where Cade and Bojan are out, I don't know what they're going to do. I would assume Alzer moves into the starting lineup. And then as far as, point, probably move Ivy to like the point. I do want to say, though, just be careful. Killian Hayes has been DMPing. Like, they've been playing Sasser, and I want to say Monte Morris has been playing a little bit. Yeah, Monte Morris has been playing a little bit. It's like, if they're both out, we'll see what they do. But, like, the main bumps that I really like here would be Alzer Thompson, Alec Burks, Sasser, and then Jaden Ivey, I would really like at 6'4". So, like, those would be the guys that I target here. And then Bojan, if Cade's out, I would really like at 6.2K as well. So keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on the lineup there. Definitely some stuff could open up there for Detroit. All right, moving on to Sacramento. I love Sabonis. Absolutely love him in this spot. I think he's one of the best spend-ups on the slate. I love Sabonis here. Really like him. He should be able to feast. Really like him. I think De'Aaron Fox is very solid at 8.1K as well. He's been bad of late, up and down, but maybe that'll keep the ownership down. He's too cheap in this spot. I think he's a very solid play. With the wings, they're just going to go with the hot hand. They're going to go with the hot hand with Keegan, Monk, and Herter. Last game, it was Herter they played more, and Monk and Keegan lost some minutes. I believe Keegan lost some minutes. Maybe it was some foul trouble, not sure. But mainly it's going to be Monk and Herter kind of switching, who plays more minutes and who doesn't. Here's what I will say. If you guess right and play like Malik Monk and he does get his 30 plus minutes, he's probably going to win you a lot of money. If he plays 20 minutes, he'll probably still not kill you, but probably not win you anything. So, I still think he's a good play, but if you do get those minutes, it's going to be like an ownership thing. If he's popular, I'm not going to play him, right? I'd just rather play Kevin Herter. So, I'm intrigued by both Monk and Herter for tournaments. Barnes is just there for me, and then Trey Lyles at 3.2K. His minutes have been decent of late. I think he's a decent pump play at this price point. I don't know if I go to much else. All right, last game of the night here, guys. Pelicans. So, Zion questionable, Najee Marshall questionable. If Zion's out, we know what to do. It's a really, really bad matchup, though. But, Ingram, CJ, they both get bumps. Trey Murphy would be a good value. Herb Jones, I would like for value at 4-1. I already think Nance is playable. He wouldn't really change much. I don't know if I go to much else here, though. And if Zion's in, the main guys, they're playable. Nance is still in play for value, but I wouldn't really like too much here. And then Jonas Valanciunas with Nance back, minutes a bit more in question. All right, Clippers, tough spot here. Zubac, I expect to continue to be on a limit here, so I wouldn't really go to him. I don't love much. Harden, Kawhi, Paul George. Paul George has kind of been on a limit. He played 32, 33 minutes last game. Yeah, I think he's priced right. The main guys in this matchup, playable. And then I don't know if I go to anyone else. Like, the bigs are out to play with Zubac back, so pretty unappealing team to me. So, hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. No injuries, please.